I personally have never really used dating apps. I thank God I've never had to. But I mean, I do know that there's a way to find women. I know some people that really found like the women. I know people that got married off dating apps. So I do know that it works. You know, I just know when you're going to a different country, you just want to make sure that you are careful because you never know people's motives.
Right. As far as the dating app conversation goes, I think dating apps are a joke. I'm not going to lie. I've used them before.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I've had them all, like, with the exception of Hinge. I don't think I've ever used Hinge, but I know I've used
Impact. 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 In fact, my hustle is intact. In fact, my hustle is intact. In fact, my hustle is intact. My muscle tough as the hustle, the numbers is just that. And I'ma keep winning and sit back. I love the feeling of killing them with that. Attacking the process, tackling topics, master synopsis. This the residual impact, yeah.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your man, Brandon Gio.
And your man, JaMichael Moore. And we are the Residual Impact Podcast.
Here we inspire others to find the greatness within themselves
And then apply to the community.
Let's grow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You already know, my friend, we back for another one. And guess what?
What's up? What's up?
We in a new location.
Talk to him nice. Talk to him nice.
A new location, everybody. Listen, this right here is beautiful. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you've seen some behind the scenes footage. You've seen a little bit of where we're shooting right now. And I must say it's very, very nice. So shout out definitely to the connect. Shout out to the plug. Shout out to the brother who hooked us up with this spot.
Nah, man, it's definitely nice. Definitely a blessing to have something new to look at. So definitely grateful. Yeah, man, we're going to just appreciate what we got.
Most definitely. You know, like we've said before, started from the bottom, now we're here.
Pretty much.
Not saying that your place is the bottom, but, you know, that's where we started. So Foundation. So, man, you already know before we get into the show, we got to go over some housekeeping rules. Mike, I'm going to give you the honor of going over them today, man.
First and foremost, I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for stopping by the channel because you didn't really have to. You could be doing anything you want to do right now. So we just want to say thank y'all. Y'all are like family, and we want to welcome you here. So if you haven't already, we please appreciate you. Just hit that like button and that notification button so that you don't miss any new videos that we do post. And if you aren't following us on the many podcast platforms or social media platforms that we on, this is the time to do so. All right. So if you're not, follow us on Instagram at Residual Impact Podcast or Residual Impact. Same thing goes for Twitter and TikTok. All right. Also, too, if you're old school, you might want to send us an email. Go ahead, send us an email, residualimpactpodcast@gmail.com for serious inquiries only. And I guess if you own anything else too, I guess B, don't forget to leave us a review. We greatly appreciate it on the many podcast platforms that we are on because they help people find us. They let people know that we are the number one podcast in the world.
Say it again, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For sure.
Yeah, we know the deal.
And that continues to get us out to these many different countries that we are a part of now because we ain't just local no more. We getting around, B.
We worldwide with it for sure.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, other than that, I mean, just follow us, and we greatly appreciate it too. And hit that cash out too if you don't mind.
Hey, yo, for sure, support your favorite content creators. You know what I'm saying? We created a cash app because, hey, for those of y'all who want to show love financially, you know what I'm saying? Y'all already show love in other ways, but for those of y'all who want to show love financially, it definitely helps. It helps to support the channel. It helps to support the show, so that we can improve equipment, we can improve location. As you can see, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, it goes a long way. But you don't have to, but we greatly appreciate it.
Yep. I like that. Show love financially.
For real.
That's something different.
So before we actually start the show today, ladies and gentlemen, you already know how we, at least do the beginning after the house rules, man. How was your week, man?
It's honestly just, this week it's been a faith-filled week. It's just been faith, bro. That's been the main topic. It's realizing that God is in control, and it's not really me. It's Him that's allowing me to do any and everything that I do. So that's been the biggest thing. It's kind of getting myself out of the way and trusting that everything that I've been putting work in is paying off. So just staying in faith, brothers. That's all it's been for this week, really.
Amen.
Yeah, man. What about you?
Nothing but work.
Work.
And I'm happy to be able to say that because trust me, last year there was a time where I was not able to say that.
Yeah, for sure.
You of course know, but yeah, man, I'm playing catch up. Just got paid today and it's gone. You know what I'm saying?
I know how that feels, bro. Yeah, I know.
It's just, I'm playing catch up. I'm making sure that, of course, Uncle Sam gets his cut because Uncle Sam always got to get his cut no matter what. And then whatever I'm left with after that, got to go towards some bills that I was slipping up on, you know what I'm saying? Make sure I'm current with that, first and foremost. I got to make sure I'm current. Make sure all debts and deficits are taken care of so that the abundance can start to come in, man. Mm-hmm. I can't pour out of an empty cup right now. I got stuff that I need to take care of first. Mm-hmm. Once that's filled, once my foundation is full and set up, then, I can definitely start to stack money away. Hopefully be able to contribute to a lot more of the stuff that we have planned for 2024. As that is definitely the goal, but I already know the people got us too, man. They're going to help contribute to it as well. But first, before they do, we have to cover that. So that's just part of the process, man. And speaking of process, hey, any one of y'all who want to sponsor the show, please feel free to reach out. Like, not even just talking about Cash App wise, but y'all have a product, y'all have a small business, y'all have a company. I know some people have hit me up regarding, starting their own businesses recently and, they want to show love. They want me to support them. Hey, we'll support us too. Closed mouths don't get fed, and I understand you want support, but hey, I got a business, I got a brand, I've put in 2.5+ years of this, and y'all really want to get out there since y'all just started? Reach out the right way. You know what I'm saying? Sponsor the show, sponsor an episode. Your sponsorship for whichever episode you decide to sponsor does not go away. It will stay with that episode for as long as our podcast is being hosted on these platforms. So you don't have to worry about, I'm paying this much for this advertising spot and it's only going to run for a month. No, it's going to run for the entirety of the episode that's up. So whether it's 2024 and you decide to sponsor an episode, or it's 2028 and people who start listening to us 4 years from now can go back to this episode and listen to it and be like, oh, wow, that's a nice company. Let me go ahead and research them. Let me check them out, whatever the case may be. Go ahead and hit us up. Like Mike said, if you're old school, hit us up on that Gmail, residualimpactpodcast@gmail.com. Again, serious inquiries only.
And we appreciate the people that have already sponsored us in their own kind of way. So we do appreciate y'all. Because one of the reasons that we're in this new location is because of somebody else who just knew about the podcast. I mean, they're in their own space, and they was like, man, like, hey, I think that these guys might benefit from here. So they welcomed us here and did not even charge us. So that is a blessing in itself. Because
yes, give it up for that.
Yeah.
That was a blessing in itself. And when Mike initially told me about this place, I was like, what? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I was surprised. Like, I had no idea that, somebody even reached out to him and was allowing us to use this space to record. And again, if y'all haven't seen the behind the scenes on our Instagram, you better start following us because y'all get to see certain things that, we don't post on YouTube or we may not post on the audio platforms. And then, of course, Patreon coming really, really soon. I know we've mentioned it before in a couple of different episodes, but we're launching the Patreon soon because a few of y'all have talked to us about it. And that's definitely going to be another way of not only helping to sponsor us, but to see content that you will not see anywhere else.
For sure.
That's pretty much how things have been lately. That's what's been on my mind. What's been on the grind. We here to start the show and we want to make sure that we give the people something to think about and actually learn today,
Knowledge is power. It really is.
Yep.
What the people don't understand is that They wonder why I'm eating an orange right now, right? It's because we created this and I can do this. You know what I mean? Like, see, when you go to your job, you know, you might have to be like, yo, then you can't eat that orange on, you know what I mean? But I can do that, you know, and it's okay. So yeah, I just want to encourage y'all to create something for yourselves. That way you can eat an orange when you want to.
Sure.
Some lesson behind that.
Nice lesson learned in a way that only Mike can teach it, right?
Only me.
Anyway, so we're going to get into something a little deep today. I will say, for some of the ladies, the small amount of ladies who do listen to the show, first and foremost, we appreciate you for
yes,
sure.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Don't think otherwise, but we definitely appreciate you. And of course, this goes for even some of the fellas who listen to the show. If this episode triggers you in any way, just know, if it don't apply, let it fly.
If it don't apply, let it fly.
I understand if this episode ain't for you, it ain't for you. But this episode is for somebody. We don't know exactly who, but I promise you it's for somebody. Whoever this is really for, they're going to get something out of it. And we hope that more people who it might not even be for get something out of it. So with that being said, Mike, I know we've talked about in the past, we've talked about, going viral on YouTube a couple different times. Well, mostly one time, but within that weekend, I kind of had two different videos that I made where one hit 165,000 views and another one reached about like 50-something thousand views within a matter of days. And that was kind of around the time where the whole Brick Lady situation happened, which, by the way, I've made multiple videos about that situation. Here we are in February 2024. And if you guys have been kind of like sleeping under a rock or a brick for that matter, the young lady who really caused that whole situation to go viral and spark a huge fire under, the internet gender wars, as a lot of people like to refer to them as, that lady has been accused of essentially scamming. Like I said, I covered more about that in a YouTube video that I've uploaded a few weeks ago. So if y'all want to check that out, go ahead and check us out on YouTube at Residualimpact. But in a couple of the videos that I put up during the initial event, when she first came out and said that, she was hit in the face with a brick by a guy who asked her for her phone number, that weekend, when I had all those views on those videos, one particular sentiment kept coming up in both of the videos I uploaded around that time in September 2023. Mm-hmm. Fellas, get your passports. Brothers, get your passports. Passport bros, we up. Like, so many different comments of young men talking about getting their passports, going overseas, finding women, who they deem to be wife material, for lack of better words, instead of dealing with certain women in the United States, which I personally can understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that I'm against that movement in any way. I know that there are plenty of people out there who are against the movement, but I know that there was a time in my life where I was cheated on really, really badly when I was in my 20s. And, I lost so much hope for dating. Yep. And so much hope for marriage at that. And I said to myself that I wouldn't get married until I, traveled the world and got to, live my life and experience other cultures and potentially meet a woman outside of the United States. For sure.
You do see a different type of culture of women that are different from over here. Man, it's a tough one because I do love my women here, but I also can understand how in different cultures there are certain things that just other women won't even. You don't have to tolerate certain things that we have to tolerate here in America. We'll say that, and I see beauty in both, but I guess I can understand both sides. I do think that people just got to be careful, though, because you don't know. Everybody's culture is different. The way people are raised is different. The way they believe, what their morals are different. So, but there is a highlight of women that will give you something different, I think, that you get in America that, certain people they don't want to have to deal with. So I can understand.
that's one of the things that I completely understand as far as the whole Passport Bros movement is about. But let's just start here. I will say that the term Passport Bros hasn't really been a thing until within the last maybe 2-3 years. But men have been traveling abroad for decades,
Right.
looking for love outside the country.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is something that most likely, keeping it a buck, started with white men. But it was only like it only became a problem, so to speak, when brothers started doing it, when black men started doing it.
Passport Bros. You know, white men have been being passport bros for years. I mean, it's not unusual. It's just when the black men started leaving and being passport bros that, oh man, I don't know. What is it about that? Black guys, let me know what's up with that. You guys, man, when y'all started becoming passport bros, the women freaked out, man. Whoa, they're all over the internet talking trash, man, left and right. I don't know what it is. But I'll say this, in Thailand now, the black guys are the rock stars now. When they walk down the street, man, they just flock on them. Hey, the white guys used to be the rock stars, but they're not anymore. They're the black guys are.
And I think the difference is that some of the brothers who actually became passport bros and kind of like coined the term, they were using social media to make it known that, they were doing this, that they were going overseas to find women and find wives and stuff like that. So what I've learned, and this is something that, I want to share with those of you guys who don't understand the Passport Bros movement. What is a passport bro? So essentially, a passport bro is a Western man who leaves their country to find a woman in a non-Western country or a country that doesn't share the same values and culture as the United States or even Canada. They could be looking for a wife, a girlfriend, or even a sexual partner who has more quote unquote traditional values in knowing how to treat a man that she ends up with. And like you said, Mike, certain men go overseas just to find women that they might not have to put up with, certain attitudes or certain mannerisms, I guess, that the women in the United States have, that women in the West may have.
Yep.
And here's a little bit more about it. And this is coming from a TikTok video from the comments section. That's the show that talked about this. So this is what they had to say.
Oh, have you heard of passport bros?
What is a passport?
Okay, passport bros are men that are so fed up with Western women because we're all apparently so woke and so terrible and Western women don't want to be wives that they are now going to other countries to find wives.
That's like which countries?
Southeast Asia, the Philippines, the Dominican Republic.
So it's like the opposite of the mail order bride.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Okay, so they're instead of ordering out, instead of using stamps.com.
Yes, and bringing them here, they're like, we want to get out.
It feels more expensive, but...
It is. And so a lot of these men get remote jobs. And so they go there and they live in these countries and then they meet these women. And then women in the Western world, specifically the United States, are so pissed off about it. And they're like, you're going to all these countries where these women don't even know how to speak English. They can't even read. They're so uneducated. And then the men film themselves with these women and show themselves on dates. And the women are so elegant and they're so well spoken and they're so traditional. And they're like, look at these women. Yeah, passport bros. Because Western women are so bad.
Did not know about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I'm here.
Interesting.
Since this movement has essentially gone viral to where so many people in the United States know about it now, it's even been talked about on the news multiple times. There have been people who love the movement, people who want to partake in the movement, and then of course on the other side you have people who hate on the movement. And when it comes to the hate, I want to talk about a couple of misconceptions when it comes to the Passport Bros movement. So here's a couple common misconceptions. Many Western women, even some men, believe that Passport Bros are losers or incels. And for those of y'all who don't know what an incel is, it's someone who is involuntarily celibate, meaning they can't get laid, essentially, who are looking to exploit women in other countries. So the word exploit and that idea of, these incels who travel to countries because they can't get women in the United States and they want to exploit women in other countries. It's a negative connotation to it, of course, because it insinuates that the women overseas that these men are flying to, they're less educated. They may be poor, and they may be even desperate for love from any man.
Actually women who are now calling men predators if they want to date a woman from a different country.
In other cultures, a lot of women are more submissive.
Yeah, they're pervy. Men are traveling overseas to countries that have less money and less education. It's because they want a woman who is dependent on
foreign girls because you can't handle women. That's why.
And this whole thing is so offensive and ignorant because basically what they're saying is that if a woman is not from the US and she's not woke, then she is uneducated, she doesn't have opinions of her own, and she can't be outspoken, and that's why men go for her. So the Western women think they are superior because they are empowered and awake, right? It's the women from other countries who are educated and can be just as outspoken and have opinions and actually can still look normal, which a lot of people here in the US seem to struggle with.
And like I said, even some men are talking bad about the movement. But I haven't seen any men really talking bad about the women in these other countries. They talk bad more so on the passport bros themselves, such as this show over here where they were talking about their thoughts on the passport bros.
Passport bros are people who travel to different countries and pay. It's called sex tourism. It's like you can't get a girl in your general location.
Wow, that's funny.
So you travel 17 hours away to find a wife or a prostitute. One or two.
Or a submissive traditional
woman. Traditional woman. Like they haven't done this with somebody else before you, but hey, as long as they say they could cook, as long as they say they're going to treat you like a man, it's all good.
And with that, I will say, to anybody who is considering being a passport bro or, getting their passport if you don't already have yours and traveling overseas to find a woman, if that's what you want to do, man, by all means, go ahead. Like, there's about 8 billion people on this planet. If you find that in your area, you're not really like having the best of luck with women in your area, or you're just kind of fed up overall with the way that you might have experienced things with certain women in your area, shoot, if you can afford to get up and pick up to another country, do it. A lot of these brothers that are going overseas, I notice they work remote jobs and they get paid maybe like 3 bands a month, 4 bands a month. They can afford to live in some of these other countries that, are more easily affordable than it is in the States. So shoot, if you got the bread, why not?
No, I agree. I don't think that the women overseas aren't as smart or whatever. I just think that sometimes it's different to see something from your own environment. Every time I travel, no matter what, you're looked at different from your own hometown. Sometimes people around your own environment may not even see a certain value in you than when you go overseas. Like literally, that's just what it is sometimes. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with men or women going somewhere outside of their own home environment to find something, because sometimes people see more value in you when you go to different places, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
If you ain't got no game here, you ain't gonna have no game nowhere else. So that part I don't get. Like, if you can't pull a woman here, I don't think just because you go to another country you're gonna be able to pull. You think you're just gonna be able to look at a woman and get a woman? No, I think it still requires some type of suaveness to get a woman, regardless of wherever you go.
Hey, but that's part of the common misconceptions. Is like brothers over here who can't get women in the country, they're going overseas because they're losers here in the States.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Nah. And again, that's not something that I agree with. I don't agree that every single guy that's going over there are losers and they can't get a woman here in the States. Now, do I agree that some of the men going over there are losers? Sure. Because, there's some guys who do go over there and kind of like ruin it for the rest of us. And by us, I mean men, like not,
I guess. Yeah, I guess you can see that. But then too, your money stretches further overseas. So sometimes,
It does.
you know, people, you go there, you might be looked at as somebody that's more valuable. I don't know.
And it's just kind of, it's kind of one of those things to where, like, I know brothers who are actually living this lifestyle. Like one of my boys who I grew up with, I mean, he doesn't consider himself a passport bro, but man, every time I turn around, he's inviting me to come with him to Africa. He's been to so many different countries over in Africa. And I think the last time he went to Ghana. And he told me, like, no matter what country in Africa he's been to, all of the women are so different than they are over here.
Yeah, of course.
All of them are different. They are, first of all, from a physical standpoint, they are stacked. Now, we all know that for the most part, black women love the sisters, right? You know, most of them are walking around with that peach on them. Over there in Africa, though, the way he explained it to me, it's on a different level. And it's natural for the most part. You don't see BBLs.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, I'm getting off topic. He invites me over there often to try to, you know, just be like, hey, come for new experience. Like, just check it out. Check out another side of the world. Check out the motherland. See, you know, how women are over here. And of course, you know, just get some time out of the country. Get some time out of the United States.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I get my funds up, I'll definitely, you know, take a trip with him over there because I'm with it. I mean, this movement has just become so popular that a lot of these brothers are going to many different countries. Like I said, countries in Africa. They're going to the Dominican Republic. Some of them are going to countries in Europe. Some of them are going to countries in South America. And some, you know, even Asia. Like I heard Asia's really big. Like, you know, there's women in the Philippines who actually welcome the passport bros. Women in Thailand who actually welcome the passport bros. And again, like we've talked about how some women have actually talked down on some of the women overseas and said, like, you know, they might be less educated or they don't really speak English or they're poor. I mean, you had pushback from the women that are over those that are living in those countries and that represent those countries, and you know they're tired of hearing that stereotype. Here's one from a woman who was actually born overseas, and she had something to say about, you know, passport bros in response to a comment that she got from somebody on TikTok.
These men go to countries where there are poor women and wife them because we won't submit to men who have nothing, and they know that. So I'm from a poor country. I was born in a poor country, and it's funny because my family back home, my aunts, they're lawyers. And these aunts that are lawyers, they submit to men. They're very feminine. They still take care of the home. They still have that feminine energy. They're still traditional. But they have a career. So it's very interesting that people just assume that everybody in foreign countries are all poor and they don't have an education. A lot of these women have better educations than a lot of the women in the West. But guess what? Even though they have education, they keep their feminine side. They don't let that education take over and bring them into their masculine energy. And they're not feminists. Also, you know, the thing is that there are a lot of poor women in the West, actually in America and Canada. There's a lot of single moms that are living off of the government. There's a lot of poor women. So the women that usually ask for the most in the West usually have the least to offer. That's what I've noticed. And they usually have the most baggage. So it is quite ignorant for women to talk about other women in other countries and put them down, because what you're doing right there, you are putting them down. When in reality, in the West, it's not great.
So in all honesty, man, I think it's all personal preference. It's all, at the end of the day, it's, how can you be mad at somebody else going over another country getting another woman? That's first and foremost. That's my whole take on this thing in general. So how can you be mad? But secondly, listen, bro, if a man wants to partake in someone else that he may have not felt like he could have gotten here, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I get what people may have an opinion on it, but the fact of the matter is that women overseas, there are amazing people over there. There are people that, you know, the most important thing to them is just finding a man who will care for them. And I think that sometimes you may not find it what's around you. We all don't like the same things. We go to a gas station, we would not pick out the same thing. That's why they have a variety of stuff. So in the end, it's just about what you like. So I don't think there's anything wrong with a man going overseas or a woman going overseas to try to find love. Just be careful. I think it's the biggest thing.
And I'm glad you actually brought that up.
What's up?
Because the passport bro movement has gotten so big in the States, all right, that even women are doing it. Women have joined this movement.
I bet.
You know what the best thing about the passport bros is? That women have came out and said, yeah, we're joining this movement. Women have been like, yeah, I left the country to find my husband. That's how I got the man I'm with today. Or women being like, I'm joining you guys. I'm leaving the country now to go find me a husband. And they're mad. They're making hate videos. They're just going to be like, well, you're just mad. No American man wants you. Why are y'all mad that women are doing it too?
You know, and they're passport sisters or whatever.
And I bet women be like, yeah, girl, go get you a man, go get you that rich man overseas. You know what I mean? Like
you know that
they're not
going to be
like
downing each other over there. But when it comes to the men, for whatever reason, they want to down the men.
Yeah.
And I've heard even some podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis. Some that actually, you know, I'm planning to collab with eventually. I remember they had a conversation about the passport bros, and you know, it wasn't a pretty one.
What you mean?
You know, the stereotypes. Oh, they're losers. They can't get laid over here, type stuff. Whatever. I mean, I think it's just all about misinformation. And of course, as a man or as a woman, I will say, as a woman, you can't necessarily experience everything that a man can experience. You don't know how it is on this side, because I think it's easier. Right. It's definitely easier, and we've agreed on this before, but it's definitely easier for women to find men than it is for men to find women. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with somebody going overseas to find the potential love of their life or their quote unquote soulmate, or, you know, somebody that they can see a future with. I have no problems with that. My main problem is, you know, again, like I've stated before, the idiots who do go over there and really are legit losers here and don't have any game, and they go overseas and they ruin it for the other men that go over there or overseas to any country and want to find a reliable woman, a traditional woman, you know?
Yeah.
And in this case, man, I definitely wanted to talk about something that's a little deep, and this is where the trigger warning really comes in. But before I even get into that, you know, 2 years ago, it's crazy that I'm saying this. 2 years ago, we recorded an episode 21, The Dangers of Digital Dating. And we talked about several men in the United States, and, you know, they were set up by women that they met online, women that they met through a dating app or they met on Instagram. And, you know, before they got to the chance to meet in person, they were DMing each other, stuff like that. And they finally meet in person, and they're not only met by a woman, but they're probably met by a bunch of guys who, you know, try to jump them or rob them, or even the women. Like there was one story I remember we talked about where the woman caught this guy slipping. Like after they met, he fell asleep on the couch in the Airbnb or whatever, and she came out with the blick and, you know, robbed him. So I guess you could say that this is a follow-up to that, in the sense of this is a series of unfortunate events that have happened outside the United States, where men are meeting these women online in other countries. They're going to these countries, they're meeting these women on dating apps like Tinder and you know, other apps that may be available in these countries. And they're either getting robbed and living to tell about it, or worse. And it's gotten so bad that as of last month, January 2024, the U.S. Embassy issued a warning against using dating apps after 8 suspicious deaths in Medellin, Colombia, within 2 months last year. 8 suspicious American deaths within 2 months. Yeah, the embassy caught wind of this and was like, listen, you guys got to chill out. You know, they put out a warning. Be careful while using these apps over there, because these men were meeting women in Medellin, Colombia, and even certain other parts of Colombia, not just Medellin, but They were meeting women over there, and they were out on dates, and they were getting robbed. According to some of the reports that I've read, some of these men were even they were taken out. They were deleted. And it's crazy. I've listed some of these reports here that I wanted to talk about. And it just like blew my mind, dog. So let's just start with the first one. And again, this is a trigger warning for any of you guys who are listening to this. Some of this news may be graphic. If this is something that you're not comfortable with, just be warned. All right. So there was a gentleman by the name of Gregory Stewart Owens, who was supposedly shot in Cartagena, Colombia in October of 2023. And this is according to News Channel 9, ABC. His body was found, and supposedly he was killed during a robbery in Colombia, and his family had to fight to get his body back. And his family was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's where he was from. So according to this news report, a family is mourning the loss of a 59-year-old Chattanooga man who was shot and killed during a robbery in Colombia. Now they are learning that the process of getting his body back to where it belongs is an incredibly difficult process. Takia Owens told us on Tuesday that her father, Gregory Stewart Owens, was celebrating his birthday the day he was killed. Local news outlets report Owens was in Cartagena near the center of town on October 19th when two thieves attacked him. One report quotes police as saying the criminals tried to strip Owens of all his belongings, particularly a gold chain he wore around his neck. Security cameras show Owens resisted with all his strength, according to the report, and started to run away. The robbers opened fire, hitting Owens in the head and chest, and he passed away a few hours later at a nearby hospital. Now, that was kind of like the start of some of the American men who were tragically taken out in Colombia last year. This had nothing to do with a dating app. This was just a gentleman who flew overseas to have fun on his birthday, and he was taken out in a horrific way. Rest in peace to that brother. But yeah, like stuff like that is like pretty heavy because you just never know, man. You never know, of course, when your time is up.
That's a fact.
But if somebody tries to jack you for your stuff, just give it up. That stuff can be replaced. You can't.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Me too. The next gentleman I wanted to talk about, his name was Johnny Jerome. This gentleman was 45 years old, and his body was found in a Medellin, Colombia hot tub after meeting a woman on a dating app. He was there also celebrating his birthday. Now, this is coming from the dailymail.co.uk. It said Colombian authorities investigate mysterious death of American tourist Johnny Jerome, 45, who was found dead in a Medellin hotel jacuzzi. And this is from November 2023. So it says that a 45-year-old American man was found dead in his hotel room in Colombia on Tuesday. Johnny Jerome traveled to Medellin to celebrate his birthday and enjoyed a night out with his cousin Monday evening, Colombian newspaper El Tiempo reported. According to a police report, the victim's cousin said they had been in the country for 2 days and returned to their suite at the Provenza Lofts Hotel with two women around 3:30 a.m. on Tuesday. The women left the apartment around 5:30 a.m., and Jerome apparently went to sleep while his cousin remained in the living room having a drink. His cousin woke up several hours later and discovered Jerome's body lying inside the apartment's jacuzzi. He sought assistance from the hotel employees who contacted authorities. The Metropolitan Police Colonel Eddie Sanchez said Jerome's body did not show signs of violence. Jerome's death comes nearly 2 months and a half after dual United States Venezuelan citizen Richard Pacheco, 43, was found dead in the apartment he was renting. Pacheco had traveled to visit a friend in Medellin and was nearly robbed by two women the early morning of August 12th at a nightclub. Whew. So that right there was a heavy topic as well. But, I'm reading this to let you know, guys, that this is very serious.
I mean, you should always just use good judgment, especially when you're using different dating apps. If you are meeting somebody, I think you want to have somebody know your location or something like that. So, I mean, I personally have never really used dating apps. I thank God I've never had to. But, I mean, I do know that there's a way to find women. I know some people that really found, like, the women. I know people that have gotten married off dating apps. So, I do know that it works. I just know when you're going to a different country, you just want to make sure that you are careful because you never know people's motives.
Right. As far as the dating app conversation goes, I think dating apps are a joke. I'm not going to lie. I've used them before. I've had them all, like, with the exception of Hinge. I don't think I've ever used Hinge, but I know I've used Tinder. Never took anybody seriously on there. Met one woman off of there. I think I was like 27, but we didn't go anywhere. We met up one time at Starbucks, and it was all right, just decent conversation. Let's see, I had Black Gentry, where I met a woman off of there. I talked about it in a previous video of mine on YouTube, where we met. Had great conversation. Our first date was at a gym, because I had in my bio that I liked working out. So did she. We matched with each other. That was one place that she wanted to go. Like, let's meet at the gym. Let's work out. It's like, cool. It's a public place. I don't know you. You don't know me. There's going to be a bunch of people around. So, we got a good workout in. Had great conversation. Cut the gym date short. Went to a park nearby. Did laps around the park. And got to know each other really well. And afterwards, she felt so comfortable with me that, let's just say, play Pound Town by Sexy Red.
All right.
That's it. Alexa, play Pound Town by Sexy Red. So, I mean, like, I've had, some decent meetings on, dating apps. But all in all, me personally, I don't think that somebody can really find true love on a dating app because I haven't experienced it. I haven't seen it.
Right.
I know you said you've seen it. So, hey, I mean, I'm guessing it's possible.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is personally. But, hey, to each his own.
Yeah.
Definitely you got to use discernment. You got to be careful, especially in another country.
Yeah.
Like, if you're meeting women in your area, the lay of the land. A bunch of people who are in the area who could potentially help you. I remember when I was using dating apps, if I had to meet a woman off of a dating app, I would tell a couple of my friends, mainly Dre. I would tell Dre where I was going, who I was going with. I sent him screenshots of her profile, all of that. Of course, I had the girl's number, so I sent him that number as well. It's like, listen, if you don't hear from me by this time, this is all, this is who I'm going to meet. This is where I'm going to meet her. Here's all the info. And he did the same thing. Anytime he was going to meet a woman off a dating app, he sent me all the info. So Smart. we had that, sense of accountability with each other to kind of keep up with each other. And, hey, once the date was over, we came back to our place like, yo, I'm back. Everything's good, blah, blah, blah. So, you have that sense of accountability. You have that sense of knowing that, you're safe in a sense of your friends know where you are and who you're going with. But yeah, going to another country, even if you're going to another country with friends, do all of you guys know the lay of the land? Do all of you know, other people there besides each other? 9 times out of 10, you don't.
Yeah.
So that's when you really have to be careful because you just never know what could happen.
I agree. But yeah, like you just said, do the things that B said, put into play, and just be smart, bro. You're just being wise.
That's all it is.
Because we definitely don't want to see people end up how some of these people have ended up. Because these stories are pretty horrific, I will say.
Yeah, man. I mean, it breaks my heart to read some of these, but it's like still we have to make sure that we do our best to warn you guys, who those of you who are planning to go to other countries to find wives or to find your girlfriend. Please be careful. Please, You know, we created this show so you not only learn from our mistakes, but you learn from the mistakes of others. And rest in peace to, you know, the two gentlemen who I've talked about so far and some of these other gentlemen that are on that list. But you have to learn from them. You know, it's unfortunate what they went through, but I mean, they went through what they went through so that hopefully you guys don't have to go through what they went through.
Go for the one that likes you, not the one you like. That's some real advice I got a
Big
long
facts.
time ago.
Big facts.
Remember that. That way you won't fall into the trap of a woman particularly trying to use you because you like her. So, just a word of advice.
Facts, because if you treat her like a star, she gonna treat you like a fan.
I also saw something too. It said, don't lose yourself trying to make her your everything. That one was a big one. Don't lose yourself making her your everything.
That's true.
Us as men, we want to do that at times, but remember, you are important too. So.
Especially because if she's your everything and you lose her, then you've essentially lost everything.
Everything.
So now you have nothing.
Yep. Which is not true.
Of course, it's not true, but that's how you end up feeling.
Yep. That's a fact.
So next up on the list, we have a story about a gentleman by the name of Tu Zheng. Now, out of the list of people that I'm reading from now, like this is the only Asian gentleman who is on the list. Like we've said before, passport bros are not just black people. It's not just black men. It's other, you know, nationalities as well. It's other cultures. It's Asian men. It's white men. Not just black. But 50-year-old Tu Zheng was an activist who was kidnapped for ransom during a date, but then killed when his family wasn't able to pay. His body was found with many stab wounds. And this is according to CBSnews.com. And this gentleman was from the Twin Cities. So he's from Minnesota. And he was an activist and a comedian. So the article reads, a Minnesota family is grieving after their loved one was kidnapped and killed while on a trip to Medellin, Colombia. Colombian authorities confirmed on Tuesday that 50-year-old Tu Zheng arrived in Medellin on November 29th. He called a friend in the United States on December 10th after going to meet a woman he met online, saying he was kidnapped and being held for a $2,000 ransom. Zheng was then killed. Yuri Armando Sanchez, sectional director of Medellin's prosecutor's office, said in the news conference, adding that the alleged kidnappers didn't collect the ransom money. Zheng's body was found in a wooded area with stab wounds, Sanchez said. And I believe when doing more research on this story, I think there were 4 people connected with this gentleman's murder, and they were all caught and arrested.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that one was a sad story. Of course, all of them are sad stories, but this man stabbed to death over 2 bands.
Yeah. It says that this year 23 foreigners had died violently in that city, not counting any migrants, which is an increase of murders that occurred since 2021, basically. So basically, man, you just want to be careful going out, going overseas. I would say go with somebody. Don't just go by yourself. A lot of times it can prevent certain things like that because you do got people that will prey on you. They do know you are tourists.
Especially with the rise of solo travelers. Like I've seen on YouTube that people are just like, yo, I want to go to these other countries, but my friends don't want to go or they can't afford to go. So I'm just going to go by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Men are doing it. Women are doing it. And it's just like, yo, be careful. If you can go with somebody else, please go with somebody else.
Mm-hmm. But live life too. Don't be afraid that, something gonna happen.
Oh yeah, fear no man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But be careful. Don't be a fool.
Please don't be a fool.
I'm grateful that this is the last on the list. I'm not gonna lie to you because I don't like listening to stories like this. Philip Mullins, the age of 32. This guy was traveling to Medellin as well with a group of friends. He was with a group. And he went out partying Friday night, he says. And he was scheduled to meet with his friends Saturday morning for an excursion and generated concern after he failed to answer their phone calls. The group visited him at the 1 Million Suites Hotel around 7 a.m. And with the assistance of hotel staff, they opened and discovered that he did not have any vital signs. They reported to the National Police investigators and found it appeared to be a hallucinogenic substance in Mullins' suite. Authorities are looking in whether his death was caused by an overdose or if he died by natural causes. His criminal background included 2010 attempted first-degree murder charge, oh Lord, for alleged stabbing of a man at Waffle House. He was also arrested in 2016. Hold on, brother. What was this guy getting to? Mullins is the 25th foreigner tourist to die in Medellin in 2023 and the 4th American in a month. That's pretty wild. Minnesota comedian, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Okay, that's who.
That's the last one I just spoke about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was another, they were saying him. And then another guy, Marcel, who was 45, was gunned down while he's attempting to fight off muggers in November 15. So yeah, man, y'all just got to be careful. I'm not sure what these guys was into, what areas they were in. We don't want to just give speculation, but I think it's just being wise. Don't be afraid to travel, but you just want to be wise. And anytime I ever travel overseas, I try to find some type of local, and I'll ask them about everything. I do like to go see where the locals are, but I make sure that I'm like, yo, is this place good? Is this place good? I don't never want to try to feel like I can move anywhere, because that does not, let's be wise. I know God is with me, but he ain't no fool.
Right.
But I'm sorry to hear about all these people that have lost their lives, though.
And yeah, I didn't want to add any more to this list, even though there are more.
Oh, I believe it.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe
those were just what? At least 5 people out of a list of 8 who were taken out within 2 months last year. And like you said, Philip Mullins, the last guy was 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And according to that article that you just read from dailymail.co, this man was from Tennessee, right? So he was from the United States. He wasn't black. Like I said, passport bros are not just brothers. Mm-hmm. It's other people as well. I believe this man, he looks white. Yeah. They put up a picture of his ID. It looks like he was a white man. But that's neither here nor there. I just pointed that out just to say that this could be anybody. I know we don't just have black men listening to this show. I'm sure we have white men listening to the show. I know we're in the Philippines, so I'm sure we probably have Asian men listening to the show. We have other cultures, other nationalities, other ethnic groups like listening to the show. I know that for a fact. So guys, just be careful. This is not just happening to black men. Yeah,
that's a fact.
And like you said, Mike, he was the 25th foreign tourist to die in Medellin in 2023 and the 4th American within a month.
Mm-hmm.
So fellas, please be careful when you're traveling overseas, especially if you want to be a passport bro, or if you want to just go outside of the country to meet a wife and just be careful. Like, that's all I can really say with this, because as far as these stories go, each of them were gruesome. Some of them were pretty graphic. We only read like a snippet of some of these articles, but it's just crazy. Like, you go over to other countries, and some people in these countries, just like in your home country, they don't care about you. They don't know you. They don't care about you. They will try you. And because you're in their homeland, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have a group of people with them. They know the lay of the land. They have access to weapons. They have access to certain things that can take you out, maybe spike your drink, maybe, whatever the case may be. And they have no problem doing it. And again, it's not just the women who are setting these guys up. It's men too. So these guys will most likely go to different countries, like in this case, Medellin, Colombia, and they will meet women online. But just as in the case of what we talked about in episode 21, these women will be in contact with some men. And these guys go to meet up with women, and the next thing you know, they see these women, and they're followed by a bunch of men that these women have been in contact with, or they get ran up on by a bunch of these men that these women have been in contact with, and they try to set these guys up.
So just take heed to these instructions, y'all. I think that with the examples and just real life scenarios, I think that it should be enough to hopefully make y'all to make an educated decision. Which that's all in the end what we want. We just want y'all to make educated decision, because at the end it's up to you. All we can do is provide the information. So I hope that this heeds somebody, prepare you, and I think mission accomplished if that's the case.
So I know this episode was pretty tough, guys, but we do it because we love y'all. We know you love us, and we want to give you something to take away from this. And we want you to hopefully learn from these guys' mistakes. Mm-hmm. These mistakes that cost them their lives. We don't want the same thing to happen to you guys at all.
That's a fact.
For real, if we can save anybody from going through this experience, then we've done our job.
That's a fact.
But that's all we have for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, comment down below. Comment your takeaways. I may actually make a separate video for YouTube regarding this topic where I touch on more stories, or I'll touch on more aspects of what's been going on lately, because I'm sure this isn't over. I'm really sure this isn't over, and I think more people need to be informed, for real. So I'll keep talking about this because, we're here for you guys. We're here for all the young men who listen to this show and watch the show online. We're here for the brothers who are our age who listen to this show and watch the show online, even though we are still kind of young, kind of. Just
no, we young. we young, bro. We got a lot of time.
Oh, for sure.
Hey, I feel you though.
But yeah, again, just hopefully each and every single one of you guys took something from this, because
please
be safe. Not saying you can't travel, because traveling is amazing. Mm-hmm. Getting the chance to experience other countries and their cultures and their food and all of that stuff is amazing. Just be careful when you're going over there to try to meet a significant other, because you never know who's there to actually be for you or who's there to set you up.
That's it. I mean, I pretty much, that's it. I ain't got nothing else, actually. That was it. You pretty much hit it on the head, Pete, with that one, honestly.
All right, so I guess I won't even ask you if you have anything else.
Yeah, because I was trying to think of something, but I had nothing. I really had nothing.
Bruh. Hey, it be like that sometimes, man.
I was really trying to think of something. I really was. It just didn't work. But no, I think we covered all points, really, with that. As far as what I had to say on that topic, though, yeah. I think we hit it on the head.
Okay. Well, again, we hope y'all learned something, and we appreciate each and every single one of you guys for tapping in today. I have nothing else to say other than what we always say, man.
Where you are today
is a residual outcome
of the thoughts you had in the past.
Just like that. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tapping in. We greatly appreciate it. And again, hopefully you men learned something.
Please.
For real.
And women.
Of course, women too. Especially if you're women in other countries. Don't be setting these men up.
Please.
Please don't.
Please. Or vice versa.
For sure.
You never know.
You never know.
Love y'all.
Peace.